ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Now I is for independence, S for our salvation. L means love for everyone, all over the nation. A is for Allah, the Father of the universe. M's for Moorish Americans and Muslims, which are us. ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Who lifted fallen humanity? Noble Drew Ali, who opened our minds and eyes to see the reason for unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America is where we learn the truth. The brothers and sisters should all attend. Be sure to bring the youth. ISLAM, Islam, Muslims, Islam. Saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. All rise. Face the east. Feet at a 90-degree angle. Raise 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 on the right. Repeat the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And in my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Drew Ali.
Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Ask we can remain standing so we can give praise and honors together.
Islam.
Islam, your sister?
Islam.
Islam, sister, Ms. Ranobe?
No.
Islam.
Islam.
Give a short praise and honors together. We rise and give praise to Allah,
We rise and give praise to Allah,
the Father of the universe.
the Father of the universe.
We give honors to his prophet,
We give honors to his prophet,
Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Love made manifest.
Love made manifest in Islam.
We give honors to his forerunner,
We give honors to his forerunner,
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Brother Marcus Garvey.
Purity made manifest.
Purity made manifest.
We give honors to all true and divine prophets.
We give honors to all true and divine prophets.
Jesus,
Jesus,
Muhammad,
Muhammad,
Buddha,
Buddha,
Confucius,
Confucius,
etc.
etc.
We give honors to everything the prophet brought
We give honors to everything the prophet brought and taught
for the uplifting of fallen
for
humanity.
the uplifting of fallen humanity.
We give honors to everything pertaining to Islam.
We give honors to everything pertaining to Islam.
Peace.
Peace.
Islam,
Islam.
at this time, I read the laws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. First, I'd like to turn your attention to the divine constitution and bylaws. Salvation, starring Crescent, our God, all-seeing eye, unity, and place. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is a holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free nationality to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 1000 North Point Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60622. Thus took a reading from the 7 Acts of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Next, I'd like to turn your attention to the great meeting is on. Koran questions for Moorish Americans. I was taking a reading from page 7 and 8. The questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, before acting upon by any members, that it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their audit meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around in their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go in your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, on making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag, or speak radical against the church, or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his five senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim the nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim the free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues, keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Thus took a reading from the 7 Acts, the question and additional laws for the Moorish Americans, by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Next, I'd like to turn your attention to our holy literature. The Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guidance of his father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God, Allah. Know thyself in Allah, period. The genealogy of Jesus, life and works of Jesus in India, Europe, and Africa, in the land of Egypt. I'll be taking a reading from the Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, found on page 36, chapter 26, Holy Instructions of Unity. Divine Instruction 1. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and He appointed to everyone his portion, in what measure he seemeth good unto himself. Hath He endowed thee with wisdom? Hath He enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? Communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicate it to the wise for thine own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often, and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate, and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence, and to pity their absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thine own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man feeleth his imperfections and is humbled. He labors in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up, and showeth them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren delighteth himself. He boasteth of attainments in things that are of no worth, but where it is a shame to be ignorant, there he hath no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom he toileth after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowneth with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. Islam? Fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Koran of Mecca for the teaching and instructing of all Moorish Americans, etc. From the Holy Koran and the Moorish Science Temple of America, know yourself and your Father God Allah, that you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man need to worship under his own vine and fig tree, the uniting of Asia. Praise Allah, praise Allah, praise Allah. Once again, I'd like to say Islam.
Islam.
And give honors to each and every one of the Moors who have joined us this afternoon for our Sunday school and Quran class. The meeting has now been open according to the Prophet's laws and the circle set. And I pray that we can keep the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice on our hearts and our minds at all times throughout this meeting. And I pray that we can exercise our five senses, those that are able to do so. I pray that we can use the gifts of the understanding that Allah has apportioned to each and every one of us. Praise be.
Praise Allah.
Without further delay, this time I'd like to call on Brother El Serrano Bay, our Sunday school instructor, to conduct our Quran class. Peace.
Peace.
Islam.
Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Now eyes for independence. As for our salvation, L means love for everyone, all over the nation. A is for Allah, the Father of the universe. M is for Moorish Americans and Muslims, which are us. ISLAM. Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just saying the word means peace to me. Islam, Muslims, Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
Islam. Islam. Praise Allah. Welcome to More Science Temple number 34, our Sunday school / Quran class. Those who are with us online, if you can unmute yourself so we can give praise and honors together. Islam. Brother Penelope, would you mind doing us a favor and taking that seat at the back door? Thank you, brother.
You take your picture with you.
We rise and give praise to Allah.
We rise and give praise to Allah,
Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
We give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
We give honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
We give honors to Brother Marcus Garvey.
We give honors to Brother Marcus Garvey.
We give honors to everything that pertains to Islam.
We give honors to everything that pertains to Islam.
Peace.
Peace.
Praise Allah. All right, so those who are with us in person, we're going to go through the Quran questions for Moorish Americans. It is a part of our custom to go through the Quran questions for Moorish Americans. How many questions are in the Quran questions for Moorish Americans? Brother Penelope Martin, how many questions?
101.
101. So when we see 101 questions, what comes to mind?
Islam.
You have 101 Dalmatians, right? Right? Islam. But I
Islam. Praise and honor is already given. My thought is, at least what I'm familiar with, is that in college courses, the first one that you would take would be a 101 course, so sort of introduction.
Islam. So 101, introduction to More Science Temple of America. So when we look at the title, it says Koran questions, all right, for Moorish Americans. Is this the Koran?
No.
No, right? No. So if it's Koran questions, Moorish Americans, then, right, it has to go with this book here.
That's right.
This pamphlet. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America. So they go together, right?
Right.
So if you're reading the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America, and you see things like it mentions Muhammad, right? The chapter on Christianity, the origin of Christianity, right? So then we say, okay, well, the Quran questions also has questions about Prophet Muhammad, as well as Muhammad the Conqueror, right? Who is Turk, right? So one is from Arabia, the other one is Turkish, right? Or from the Ottoman Empire, right? Or if we see things about, let's say, Mecca, we have questions about Mecca, right? Or when we read when it says the whiteness of her bosom transcended thy lily, we know that that is what we call personification, right? But then we also have a question about what is white. Can you define the word white, right? White means purity, purity means God, God means the ruler of the land. So this is kind of like we're trying to get closer to Allah, but we need a map, right? To decode, I would say this is the map, and these are the instructions to decode the map, right? So if you're reading the map, you're looking at a map sometimes on the side, it has little information on the side that tells you what this red dot means, or what does these purple areas mean, or why is this area yellow on the map. But if you're just looking at the map and you don't see those little pieces of information, then it's kind of hard to read the map, right? Some always like to say, well, you know, the map is an abbreviation for the Moorish American prayer, right? Right, so that's one way to get to Allah, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the opening song was ISLAM, right? Islam, Muslims, Islam. Just say the word. That means what?
Peace.
Peace, right? Peace to me, right? Okay, so where can we find the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, or I would just say in the teachings in the Moorish Science of America, where we see Islam means peace to us? Anyone? So I heard somebody come off the mute button.
I see a hand from Sister Granshikas.
Islam, Sister Cecil Grand Shikas.
Islam, praise Allah. Could you repeat that question for me, please?
Islam. So my question was, where in the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America do we see Islam meaning peace? You know, because we have this song where it says, just say the word that means peace to me, Islam, Muslims, Islam, right?
Islam, you're muted, sister. Islam, Sister Granshikas, just asking to unmute. I think she got the back in.
Praise Allah. I think she's having some technical difficulties, but it's all right. We'll give Grand Sheikah some time to come and answer the question. Right? Islam means peace to me. Right? So if Islam means peace, then we know that Islam is interchangeable with the word peace. Right? So you can interchange it if it means peace. So how do we qualify this in the Moorish Science Temple of America? How do we qualify this in theological academia or etymology, right? Definitions, the origin of the definitions of words. That's not the Bashir was allowed back in?
Not this time.
Anyone have their hands up?
Don't see.
Okay, praise Allah. So if we go into the Moorish literature, there is an article that was published in the Moorish. All right. Islam, Sister C, Cizil, right, Shikas?
Praise Allah and honor to our prophet. One Muslim may not stop the show. So I was just going to say, what is Islam in the Moorish literature in the
Yes,
first section? Praise Allah.
yes. What is Islam in the Moorish literature? Page 10. Brother Penelope Martin, would you like to read for us, bro?
I first would like to rise and give praise to Allah and homage to Prophet Noble Drew.
Okay. Can you read paragraph 1 and paragraph 2?
Yes.
Praise the Lord. Thank you.
Islam is a very simple faith. It requires man to recognize his duties towards God Allah, his creator, and his fellow creatures. It teaches the supreme duty of living at peace with one's peace. It is preeminently the religion of peace. The very name, Islam, means peace. The goal of a man's life, according to Islam, is peace with everything, peace with Allah, and peace with man. The Koran, the holy book of Islam, tells us the final abode of man is the house of peace, where no vain word or sinful discourse will be heard. The holy divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, says that a follower of Islam, in the true sense of the word, is one whose hands, tongue, and thoughts do not hurt others.
Praise the Lord.
Peace.
Thank you so much. Peace. Okay. So in the Bible, in the New Testament, it says that Jesus is, what does it refer to Jesus as? The Prince of Peace. Islam. So Jesus is the Prince of Peace in the New Testament, right? If we take this word, and I'm sure some more might have heard me say this a few times. I see the hand. That if you take any word that has S, L, and M, it means peace. So if you are reading Aramaic, Hebrew, or Arabic, in the English, using English words, and you see S, L, and M, it means peace. Islam, Sister Cecil, you got your hand up too? Okay, and then Brother Asmith.
Islam, I'm going to yield for our brother chairman. He's in the temple. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah, Brother Asmith.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah and honor to you, brother, for the thought, honor to the most of the conversation. Just to that example, I know that, the Moors may be familiar, with Muslims all over the world, especially in Arabic and in Amharic, not Amharic, but Amharic, and as well as Amharic. There's different ways of saying, peace be unto you,
Yes.
with you be peace. So a lot of Muslims are familiar with Assalamu alaikum, or Assalamu alaikum, and then alaikum salam is a response. So peace be unto you peace. And it's very interesting as Moorish Americans, we know our greeting is raising our right hand and saying Islam. And so, I've been introduced to the concept of Islam, or I've been taught that the term Salam in Amharic is also a greeting to introduce peace or to say unto you peace or peace be with you or gain someone's attention. So just to further that thought.
Praise Allah. Peace. Sister Cecil.
Islam, praise Allah. I just wanted to just throw out there that as you were speaking, that would be found in Isaiah 9:6. So I just wanted to just put that out there, that it would have been found in Isaiah, which goes back to meaning God saves, and just the concept of peace, the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all lands. And so that concept of salvation and connecting in the tone and the maintaining of the peace with our brother chairman, who happens to be Brother Isaiah Smithville. So praise Allah. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. There's two things that I want to show the Moors and show the comparison as well. So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in one instance says, There's only one true and divine way that peace may be obtained. And in the oral statements and prophecies, it says that one day every nation will bow to Islam. So if we take that and we make the comparison of Islam and peace and this seeking of peace, that every nation will bow to Islam. Now, this is not a radical statement because we know what Islam means. And Islam takes on various shapes and forms. If you go to China, who has the second largest Islamic population in the world, their Islam looks Chinese. If you go to Arabia, Arabian Islam looks Arabian. If you go to Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco, Islam looks Moroccan. If you go to Nigeria, in Africa, Islam looks Nigerian. And so just look at that part there. We know that Jesus is the Prince of Peace. The word Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, we see S-L-M. Most people say a Muslim or a Muslim is one who submits to the will of Allah. Some say surrender to the will of Allah. But in this surrender or submission, it is peace. A Muslim or Muslim, yes, it means a submitter to Allah, but it also means a peacemaker or man of peace or women of peace. So it is a peacemaker and one who submits their will to the will of Allah. There's another verse in the Bible that supports this where it says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Sister C. Silzo, Islam?
Islam, praise Allah and honest to our prophet. I remember from, I want to say maybe about 10 years ago, you had a demonstration on this where you also spoke to Jerusalem, North Carolina. There's a place named Salem. There's in Judaism or modern day Hebrew, there's the Shalom, the concept of the Shalom Aleichem, as they would say as well. As and in comparison to Salam Alaikum. I was also going to ask, because I know we've had discussions about this, but just to resound it as we're on the topic, Jesus meaning justice as well. So Jesus meaning justice, though he is the Prince of Peace. And so the concept of how they were intertwined also in accordance with the laws set to bring about peace. If you may, but continue in whatever order you are, because the way that this is unfolding, the concept of peace, Islam, I think is a beautiful thought and a beautiful topic. Peace.
Islam, praise Allah, praise Allah. Thank you so much, sister. Sister C says, praise Allah. And yes, there are various examples of this S, L, and M. And so whenever you see it, just take a mental note, right? That when we talk about the building of the Temple of Solomon, right? We see this S, L, and M. So just as I gave the Moors homework last week Sunday, so I hope the Moors are ready to answer the question, if they can remember the question that I had last week Sunday. But I guess this homework would be just look up online etymology dictionary.com. Online etymology dictionary.com. Etymology is spelled E-T-Y-M-O-L-O-G-Y. Etymology, some pronounce it etymology, you can say it as etymology. And this is the science of the origin of words. You can look up Solomon, you can look up Islam, you can look up Muslim or Muslim, you can look up Salem, as Sister C. Souza mentioned, Shalom or Jerusalem, right? So Jerusalem, meaning the city of peace. The city of peace. So when we're looking at the Temple of Solomon from a metaphorical perspective, that we are building the temple of perfected man in conjunction with the Temple of Solomon, right? This spiritual meaning of building the Temple of Solomon. And we know Solomon means peace. So that's why, in my perspective, when we read this article, What is Islam? And it says in the second paragraph, it says the Quran, the holy book of Islam, tells us that the final abode of man is the house of peace. It's the house of peace. And this kind of goes in conjunction in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I see Brother Asmith is already on the job about this temple of perfected man. Right? Praise Allah. Give the brothers some time. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Islam. Brother Asmith? Islam.
You know, I appreciate the thought and the conversation because it's stirred up a couple of things. I know you're talking about the temple of perfected man, and that's found on page 10 at the end of chapter 5. Instruction 20, instruction 21 says, and then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love. On it we climb up to the dome of purity and light. And on the 12-step ladder we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. And I just wanted to read another instruction. It's going to be from chapter 12. Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. And on page 20, instruction 6 says, toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy, peace, and this is heaven. Do you not know that such a heaven is for you? Now, I just think about, in connection to this thought that we're talking about, how peace can be obtained through this willing submission to Allah. Peace can be obtained through this striving that we're all seeking to, striving towards the space that we're all seeking to arrive at, which Brother was speaking about. You know, life is spent to build this temple of perfected man, and so we gain peace and happiness and joy and all these blessings from putting the hope and love in the back of our striving. It's easy to be, caught up in the cares of the world, and the Prophet talks about how the public is unstable and ungrateful, and so it's easy to lose that sense of peace. It's easy to lose that sense of submission that thou owest unto Allah. But we're reminded of the purpose of submitting ourselves, because it maintains this vibration and it gives us this continuous and boundless joy. So that is the peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. We have other names such as Salom, as in Elihu and Salom. And there was another one. There was the Garden of, I think it was Salom too. All right. So the Garden of Peace, Salom, Elihu, Salom. Islam, Sister C. Souza.
Islam. Praise Allah. Here I go again with the Jesus means justice, right? So that would be question 36, but in connection to him being the Prince of Peace. And I think that's also very key, in different languages, as Allah's name would also be known, right? And it even spoke about the concept of all people worship Allah. And so it didn't separate it all. It said all. And I thought that was very interesting. And so the concept of of teaching peace. It's just that, all nations see a part of Allah. So then there's parts that's worshiping areas that just drive toward ego, right? And so it's not a matter of whether or not they're not seeing Allah. It's just that, like it's the concept of, yes, you're drinking enough water. In fact, you're drinking too much water, and you're flooding your system, and you're not allowing your body to properly balance its electrolytes because you keep flushing it out too much, if you will. So it's like you can overdo something. And so what I thought about was within that balance of Jesus meaning justice, right? And the concept of the peace of society dependent on justice. And so the concept that Jesus came as the dual um, depiction of both. And so I often looked at how that was, and then even the concept of his trial, right? But how he chose to operate in a peaceful manner, in the preparation, and the concept of being still, right? In a still small voice, an aspect of honing in on peace, internalizing aspects of peace, finding time for peace. And so when you all were speaking, it always, praise Allah for you all in all of your minds and exchanging on these thoughts because it drives further thought. With that, I'll say peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. Sister C. Silza, do you remember what Brother C. Hurt Bay, former Grand Governor of the state of New York, used to say about the United States of America having a department for Jesus? You remember he used to say that?
Islam, praise Allah for Brother C. Hurt Bay, who affectionately, I'll have call Uncle Hurt Bay, right? So with Brother C. Hurt Bay, with that, I don't want to misstate it, but I do recall him saying, relating back to it. But because of what its nature, and because Brother C. Hurt Bay is very specific, I'm gonna say Islam and peace.
Yes, praise Allah. Yeah, so he used to say that the United States of America had a Jesus department, right? And he referred to it as the Department of Justice, right? Because we know Jesus means justice. And he used to reference the part where the Prophet Noble Ali mentioned, where it says something on the lines of, it's in the oral statements and prophecies, which reported Prophet Noble Ali said that they were going to enforce his law or his laws. And so if we go to chapter number 35, page 42, the Holy Instructions from the Prophet Religion, instruction number 9 and 10, it says, the providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature conformeth to his will. So that, when Sister Cecilia was bringing about Jesus meaning justice and the different examples of how we can see even the peace of society dependent on justice, how you can say, well, we know Jesus is the Prince of Peace, and we know that Jesus means justice. So that was a wonderful connection, Sister Cecilia, but that it made me think of what Brother Herbert used to say about the Department of Jesus. Right, so praise Allah. Anyone else have their hands up? Any comments or questions? Praise Allah. All right. So we're going to go through the Quran questions for Moorish Americans. Who made you?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Can we see him?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In the heart.
Who is Noble Ali?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1930.
Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of all humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
Islamism. So if Islam means peace, then what is Islamism?
Peaceism.
Peaceism. Praise Allah. What is ism? You can use your phone.
Islam.
Ism. Brother J. Coleman.
Islam, Brother J. Coleman.
Islam, first I rise to give praise to Allah, and I give honors to the Prophet and everything pertaining to Islam. It's the practice. Ism, practice.
The practice.
Peace.
The practice of peace. Praise Allah. What is your definition? Yeah, no.
Islam.
Islam.
So the definition of the noun suffix for ism, whether stated as act, practice, or process, as well as manner of action or behavior characteristic of a specified person or thing.
Peace.
Peace. You got the same definition?
Distinctive doctrine, theory, with practice. 1670s. Rest of the words.
Practice.
Yeah,
Praise
okay.
Allah. Yes. Look up Islamism. Islamism. What is Islamism defined as? Some people believe that it is of a political religion, right? Which is the societal practice of Islam, which is that this is not just your belief, but that it influences your everyday actions. Right? Islam.
Islam. You know, just to that thought that you're speaking about, it always brings me back to the Moorish literature. And it'll be in the last editorial. It's the Moorish leader's historical message to America. And what I'd like to read from is from page 21. Let me make sure I have the right one actually. Yes. So in the second to last paragraph, it says, "In conclusion, I urge you to remember there is work enough for all to do in helping to build a better world. The problems of life are largely social and economic, and in a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual." And so when I think about what you were just saying, or a lot of the thought between the social or political application of Islam, I think that practice is important in all these facets of life, where we find ourselves at home, at work, or on the streets, finding a way to be able to remember the principles and to remember our faith and our practice, to be able to treat our brothers and our sisters with a certain sense of reverence. And I think that continues as the editorial goes on, where it says, "Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow man in general, and especially those with whom you deal." This practice of peace throughout society, throughout our home life, it expands beyond into our communities, into our nation, to the world. So just continuing that thought, where it says at the beginning of Christianity, and that there's but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained, and that's through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught to all nations, all lands. That is peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. And that's wonderfully said, and that was a wonderful demonstration that how you tie those in. If I may, I wanted to read it just a little bit further, also in the same paragraph. It says, "This includes such honesty and righteousness as will cause you to put yourself in the other fellow's place. Look for the best in others and give them the best that is in you. Have a deeper appreciation for womanhood. Brighten the hopes of our youth in order that their courage be increased to dare and do wondrous things. Adhere at all times to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am your affectionate leader. I shall continue to labor day and night, both in public and private, for your good, thereby contributing to the welfare of our country and its people as a whole." Noble Drew Ali. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. That's wonderful. There's nothing else I can say after that. It's the prophet, boy. It's the prophet. That's right. Islam. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Praise the Lord. You know, but I wanted to show my goal, Islam, Brother S. Suleiman Bey.
Islam, praise Allah. Islam.
Islam.
You know, when we speak about peace, right? And when we speak about all of the principles, the five principles, the highest five principles known to man, a lot of times, you know, I'll think to myself, what is the meaning of these principles, right? And then when one tries to go into the principles, you find out you can go on and on just on one principle for maybe for days. And when you mentioned the article from What is Islam from the Moorish literature, and it struck me where it stated, you know, no vain discourse and something else would be heard in the house of peace or the abode of peace. And it just really struck me because what you also just read from the prophet, those are like noble endeavors that we're embarking on. And when we think about vain words and discourses, it's like those are the things that kind of spice up life, right? For a lot of people. Someone who's not really into a lot of vain words and discourse, they might not be what's the word? They might not be liked, or they might not be as influential, because those vain words and discourses, a lot of times that's what that's what a lot of people use in their relationships and things of that nature to build bonds. So it kind of made me think, like, wait a minute. When we think of vain and vanity, when you look that up, one would be surprised on the meanings, like in the older dictionaries, right? So just long story short, it just brings to mind these things of what really is peace, you know? So, with that, I say peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord. That's the wonderful thing to get into as well. What is Islam? Page 10, second paragraph. It says the Quran, the holy book of Islam, tells us that the final abode of man is the house of peace, where no vain word or sinful discourse will be heard. The holy divine prophet Nabi Ali says that a follower of Islam, in the true sense of the word, is one whose hands, tongue, and thoughts do not harm others. You know, and it could be subtle things, as our brother was talking about, like what we call barbershop talk, right? Or like words of like competition with each other that could stir up lower vibrational ethers, right? Or spirits. You know, things that cause us to be disunified, right? And the brother mentioned about vanity, right? So any sinful discourse, right? When I think of sinful discourse, it makes me think about this particular instruction. Allah knows best. I opened up the Quran, it was already there. Where it says, holy instructions and warnings for all young men. Beware, young man, beware of all the allurements of wantonness. All the allurements of wantonness. So that could be destructive activities, right? Oh, hey, let's go down to so and so and let's, do the stuff that we do all the time, right? The negative stuff, right? Oh, let's go smoke, or let's go drink, or let's go where the honeys is at, right? For the lack of a better term, right? But you engaging yourself into things that don't usually go right. And if we're mathematicians, 1 + 1 = 2. Every time you go there, something always happens there. But then we go there, we still go there anyway, right? So that's kind of what comes to mind about where no vain word or sinful discourse. Islam.
I see him from the Seymour stencil. I just want to read the instruction.
Okay,
Islam.
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 I just wanted to take a reading from the Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 41, Holy Instructions from the Prophet and Constancy. And this discussion just made me think about instruction 13, and I'll read 13 to 15. It's found on page 51. Again, this is chapter 41. Instruction 13 says, how should his actions be right, who hath no rule of his life? Nothing can be just, which proceedeth not from reason. The inconstant hath no peace in his soul, neither can be at ease whom he concerneth himself with. His life is unequal, his motions are irregular, his soul changeth with the weather. And just that thought, connect to what we're saying. Finding peace within oneself is something that radiates around us, and that impacts the people in the community and society and the world at large. And the eagles, that I say peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Islam, Brother Simon Stencil, Assistant Grand Sheikh, more science, number 10.
Islam, praise Allah, honors to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey, honors to all true and divine prophets, honors to everything that the chairman gave honors to at the onset of the meeting, honors to each and every one of you, honors to everything pertaining to Islam. Praise Allah, praise Allah. I wanted to take a reading from page 41, chapter 32, divine instruction 8, holy instructions from the prophet, charity. He calmeth the fury, he healeth the cause of angry men, and preventeth the mischief of strife and animosity. He promoteth in his neighborhood peace and goodwill, and his name is repeated with praise and benediction. So the holy and divine prophet said, we are for peace and not destruction. So when we go out there in the world and we're holding the thought that Allah and man are one and living in life, following our holy and divine prophet, we think about what we are preserving. We have to protect and preserve these holy and divine laws. And that we're living the life of peace, we following the prophet. The prophet told us that the Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca. But we protecting it through the belief. If you look up creed, they go with the belief. And from Muhammad the First, the founder of the uniting of Islam by the command of the great universal God Allah. So the uniting of Islam, the uniting of peace, we doing that by living a life through our thoughts, word, and deed, and following the holy and divine prophet and aligning our will with his deific will. He said, peace on earth and goodwill to men. So, peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. I want to thank you, brother, for your words. And it was an amazing thought. And when you said you resaid what the prophet said about that we are for peace and not destruction. And just in that statement alone, we see there's only two things: peace and destruction. And the contrast between the two. And it makes me think about when the Prophet Noble Ali says, in all the world, there's only two things. The one is the truth, and the other is falsehood, that which seems to be. And when I think about when the Prophet mentions about the higher self, he who knows well his higher self knows of the things that cannot pass away, and he who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world and knows of the things that pass away. And so if I'm looking at this in contrast of we are for peace, not destruction. So either what you say, think, or do is either peaceful or it's destructive. And so, it makes me think of Sister C. Seals, who says it all the time. She reads from the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science of America. Apostle's best. I'm just opening it up. It's just giving it to me. So, where where it says, no, this is not even it. I thought it was it. Praise Allah. It's the next, yeah, it's the next page. No. Where it says, beware of irresolution in the intent of thy actions, right? So shall thou triumph over two great feelings. Right? Let me keep bringing me the marriage instructions.
Inconstancy.
Yes.
Instruction 6.
Yes, thank you, brother. Page 51. Beware of irresolution in the intent of thy actions. Beware of instability. Instability. In the execution, so shall thou triumph over two great failings of thy nature. But what is thy nature? What is the nature of man? Right? Because Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as a Muslim, we say that Allah created man to be a Muslim, right? That is the nature. But then the Prophet paid chapter 1, he talks about another nature, right? This carnal nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. And so that carnal nature became a foe that man must fight. And so this here, so shall thy triumph over two great failings of thy nature. What reproaches reason more than to act contrarieties? What can suppress the tendencies to these? But firmness of mind. So you have to be resolute in that which is right. Islam. Sister M. Serrano Bay, would you like to come in and answer some questions?
Look like what?
Praise Allah. So we are in the Quran questions for Moorish Americans.
I know.
All right. I want you to.
In there exactly.
Yes. I want you to take a reading from
Yes, that's all the easiest one.
Islam.
Islam, sister.
Islam.
So,
Can you step forward? I want you to read this here,
unity,
the nationality card. Can you read it for us?
unity.
Yes.
This is your nationality and identification card for the Moorish Emblem of America and birthrights for the Moorish Americans, etc. We honor all the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. May the blessings of the God of our Father, Allah, be upon you that carry this card. I do hereby declare that you are a Muslim under the divine laws of the Lord, of the Holy Quran of Mecca, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I'm a citizen of the USA. Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet, Home Office, 2905 5th Street, CE, Washington, D.C. 20032.
Praise Allah.
When we read the whole thing.
Yes, that was an amazing job. Thank you. You can have a seat. Praise Allah. And the reason why I had Sister M. Serrano Bay read this for us is because it says we honor all true and divine prophets. All true and divine prophets. And it says Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. Yet, what some brothers and sisters know as Christianity might say, oh, Jesus is our God, right? And then you have some, Sunni Muslim brothers and sisters, they say Muhammad is my God, right? And then you have some Buddhists that say Buddha is my God, right? And so we in the Moorish Science of America, some of us, we might say Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right, is our God. And he is our God, right? But Prophet Noble Drew Ali himself distinguishes himself in such a way, he adds a word to the type of prophet he is. What is the type of prophet? Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He says, he is a true and divine prophet, a universal prophet, right? And so these teachings in the Moorish Science of America, whichever religion you might find yourself in, whichever school of thought you might find yourself in, you can still apply the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because it's all one. It's all connected. Each prophet verifies the one before. There are no contradictions. Only man contradicts. Man has a misunderstanding. And those who we put on pedestals as historical figures and scholars, the minute we put those brothers and sisters over the prophet, we were lost. We have a misunderstanding. Islam, Brother J. Cormanel, Islam, Brother J. Cormanel.
Islam, you just said my thought right there, because you know you got a lot of people who's claiming that they are prophets or prophets, but I like how the nationality card reads. It says all true and divine prophets. You know, true and divine. You know, that's what I like about that. You know, but yeah, you know, he's got to be very careful because you know there's people out here today claiming they're prophets, but you know they're not prophets. Peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. So we know Islam, Brother Penelope Martin, yes.
You just said,
Yes.
I first rise and give praise to Allah and honors to His Prophet Nabi Ali, and honors to anybody being given honors to. So the question I have is like, could there be another prophet?
Islam.
Yeah.
That's a great question. That's a great question. So during the life of Jesus, while he was alive, how many prophets were there that we knew of, right? You know, his mom was a prophetess. We know Elizabeth was a prophetess. We know John was a prophet. Prophet said, yeah, I'm a prophet, but Jesus is the prophet, right? During the time of Moses was a prophet. His sister was a prophet. And there was another one. I forget, was it Aaron? Brothers there? There was 3 prophets at the time. You had Miriam was a prophetess, right? Then we have Prophet Muhammad, who says that he is the seal of the prophets, right? And so today, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America, chapter number 48, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. Instruction 1, it says, the last prophet in these days is Noble Ali. What does that mean? The last prophet in these days is Noble Ali. But the Holy Quran of Mecca, it says Allah is ever sending prophets. Right? So in my perspective, no. Prophet Noble Ali may not be the last prophet. It says the last prophet in these days. And we got to be careful because we could mistakenly do what the followers of Prophet Muhammad do to us. When they say Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. And that which the Christians did to them. When they say Jesus was the last prophet. Because they say that Allah so loved the world, he said his only begotten son. And they think that begot means that he is the last. And so there can't be a prophet after Jesus. But the key is, technically, there is no prophet after Jesus because Muhammad is Jesus. And Prophet Noble Ali is Muhammad. So it's one prophet. Islam, Brother Asmith.
Islam? Praise Allah. Again, I'm just you, brother, for the question, and I'm just you, brother, Sunday school instructor, for that thought, because that's what I was going to think about. And I know that Brother Steve Ferguson and Brother Sister Chairman often makes that, that point clear that whenever you hear brothers and sisters around the world talking about our prophet Jesus, they're talking about our prophet Noble Ali. Because we're taught in these lessons that the first person in our questionnaire to whom Jesus reincarnated was Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror. And so that same thought manifests in Prophet Noble Ali. And so if we continue to go with the thought of the questionnaire, it asks us, what is a prophet? And the prophet is the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. And what do we know about thoughts of Allah? All thoughts of Allah are infinite. So if Allah is it's incomprehensible, almighty, unable to be compassed by walls, we have to be able to recognize within ourselves that we're also from the everlasting of the past and never-ending days to come, as well as these prophets, as well as these teachings, this divinity and this ability for us to strive towards the ethic life is something that has always been there, related back to why we call Islamism the old time religion. There's always a necessity for prophets to come because man needs a pattern for their lives. Man loves to follow, not to lead. So this thought is, as the prophet teaches us, to imitate him in thoughts, word, and deed. We have the opportunity to come closer to an understanding of what that prophethood means to us. Like the brother was saying about Prophet Noble Ali being a universal prophet, we can connect all of these thoughts with what it is to be divine, what it means to be a part of this everlasting gospel, this ongoing tradition that comes from Allah through our ancient fathers by His prophet. So, honest all much for the discussion. That was it.
Peace. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. And that's a wonderful question, brother. I want to commend you for your question. There was a few Sundays ago, last year, I do see a hand up, and we were talking about, who was it? Thermodynamics, right? And within thermodynamics, within the first law of thermodynamics, it says that energy cannot die or be destroyed. And what is thermodynamics? It is the science of being able to calculate temperatures and heat, right? So we have what is referred to as death. Then we have a chapter that says death is no enemy of man, right? It's a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human will to earth. They may sail on smoother seas. But the prophet Noble Ali, he also says that man cannot die. While law lives, man cannot die. In the Bible, it says those who follow Jesus shall receive everlasting life. Right? So that means man, spirit man, cannot die. So the physical body experiences death, but the spirit doesn't experience death. So when we're talking about the spirit of Prophet Jesus, or the spirit of Prophet Noble Ali, it's the same spirit, different body, different lifetime, but the same spirit. Praise Allah, Sister C. Silzil, where she is.
Islam, praise Allah and honors to our prophet, and honors to everything pertaining to Islam, and honors once again to you all in this thought, right? I was going to say, so within Islam, they speak to over 125,000 prophets being sent to pretty much humanity, right? And some say 144,000. So the numbers vary between that there in Islam, right? Throughout the Bible, there's approximately 100 or so prophets mentioned. I thought about Elijah based on our Sunday school demonstration from Sister Jade Jordan when she mentioned the name Elijah. Just the concept of also the prophets that were yet to be verbally named or identified, and then the degrees to the prophet also. So I think that that's also important to note, that not every prophet was a Jesus, a Buddha of enlightenment, if you will, right? Prophet Adam, right? And then there's that one that comes again, as far as the line that continues to finish off the works from before. But then there are many who are given a divine message, if you will. And so I think that that is something that's very important, to teach them that man and Allah are one. But through carnal thoughts, words, and deeds, we tore ourselves away from Allah to base ourselves, right? In the Holy Quran here, the More Science Symbol of America, it teaches that we are each priest unto ourselves. Now, this wasn't a concept of delusional thinking, we can all heal heal yourself all the time with anything and everything. No, it says you look in the face of man, you look at the image of Allah that speaks within, but it lets you know that within you, you still have that ability to know which way to go. And that still small voice speaks to you as well. It's in you. It's constantly talking. And so if you put your hand in Allah's hand and you're to imitate your prophet, then that means that you would be in line with being a prophet. So you wouldn't be your prophet Noble Ali, but the line of what you would be doing, and your imitation, you're not impersonation, but imitation of the prophet would allow you to be in line with the prophetic way, if that makes sense. And so with that, I'll say peace.
Peace, praise Allah. Islam, Brother S. Sulaiman Bey.
Islam, praise Allah. Honors to the Grand Sheikhess for what she was demonstrating. I don't know if she wants to speak on that a little more in depth. There was something regarding prophets, right? When we see the prophets of Islam, we think about Eastern Islam, right? And they're saying as far as a prophet that Muhammad is the final prophet. He's the seal of the prophets. We've heard it, right? And I do recall a document that I read from he was a Sudanese scholar. This Sudanese scholar, he was writing about the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, how he came in contact with someone, Majid, I believe, Sadi Majid. And this brother, this Sadi Majid person, he's actually he was a British agent. He's wound up working for the British government, but he basically, tried to bring a fatwa against the Prophet. But long story short, in the document, he spoke about the Prophet and saying how, as far as the claim of the Prophet or Prophet Noble Drew Ali not being a prophet of Islam, he put the question out that in terms of prophet, this could be something that could be this deeper within the what he had called at that time the American, or the quote unquote, I don't know if he used the term Black American or African American, or that tradition of prophets, right? And when we think about how the elders used to say the Moorish Science Temple is the soul of the Asiatics, like the Moorish Science Temple is the soul of the Asiatic people, right? I don't know if it was brother Ferguson Ill or sister German Bay. And then, so I wanted to present this to the Moors as well, because this has been on my mind really for a while, not necessarily related to that statement. But like you mentioned, Sunday school instructor at the very beginning, you mentioned that what are the 101s, right? And these are our keys, right, to understanding our Koran. So when we go to question number 6, it's stating that what is a prophet, right? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. My understanding is that the prophet gave us our definition for this Islamism, right? So when we saying we honor all true and divine prophets, according to when we honor all true and divine prophets, that definition and that understanding is a universalist understanding, which coincides with what the Moors were speaking about. However, I'm saying that it's not limited to that Eastern understanding, or even the understanding of what they taught us it was, even in the Bible days, or the Quran of Mecca. That's what I'm really starting to understand more, because the prophet defined it for us. What is a prophet? So when we say prophet, are we saying it the same way that others have been presenting it? Peace.
Peace, praise the Lord. Sister E. Jones, babe. Islam, Sister E. Jones, babe. Islam, sister.
Islam, your sister, you're unmuted. I'm not sure if you're able to speak.
You should block that again.
Praise the Lord. We'll give the sister some time. But I believe Brother Eslam Obey had a question. He asked, how are we using the definition of prophet in relation to our brothers and sisters in the East? 1 second, Sister M. Serrano Obey. And, I think that many times what happens is that we have a prophet who establishes the word of Allah and manifests this particular thought of how man should go. Direction should man go in? And a lot of times what happens is after that prophet leaves the flesh, the people start to distort the message of the previous prophet. And so what Allah then does with his own discretion is he'll send another prophet to straighten out that message. And this is a chain of events that happens continuously. And that's why I said no prophet contradicts the previous prophet. but yet we have Christians versus Muslims versus Jews, and all of them have their own thoughts of, oh, how the Quran of Mecca can't be the word of Allah because then it will contradict this particular scripture, and all of this bickering and debating amongst men when in actuality is one message. It's just you have to be able to find what that means. Sister E. Jones Bay.
Islam, first I rise to give praise to Allah, give honor to the Prophet, give honor to everything that gave honor to at the onset of this meeting. In alignment with everything that was spoken to up until this point, words have definitions and language is a science. We are all scientists. And, looking up every word that you read gets you familiar with what the words mean. And just like you said earlier, the etymological definition of words help open up more channels to understanding, what is being delivered to you in any aspect. And if we look up the etymological meaning of prophet, it continues to be a noun. And it says a person who speaks for God, one who foretells, inspired preacher, from the old French prophète or prophet or soothsayer. And then it goes even further back where it says an interpreter, spokesman, proclaimer, or a harbinger. So then do we hear about John or Brother Marcus Garvey? So when we speak about prophet, we know that in another dictionary, we would say a prophet is a teacher. The more modern dictionary, they would say a prophet is a teacher. And to me, we also remember to apply these lessons to ourselves. And as the brother was speaking, because I had got the thought of the questionnaire, what is the prophet? You know? And then as he was speaking, I thought about from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, chapter 10, when man sees instruction 22, when man sees Allah is one with him, he needs no, as far as Allah, he needs no middleman to intercede. So at some point or another, we all become a prophet, whether it be to ourselves or to our household members, or even as divine ministers and sheiks. So with that, I say peace.
Peace. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. And that's an interesting thought. And it makes me think about when the Holy Prophet Nabi Ali says that everything I am, all men shall be. Everything that I am, all men shall be. And there's an article that was published in the Moorish literature where the Holy Prophet Nabi Ali is speaking specifically to the head of the temple. And he talks about the leader being loved even as the prophet is loved. So he instructs us to do what? It's three things. Imitate I, the prophet, in thought, word, and deed. So we have to imitate the prophet. And when I think about us being closer to Allah, right? We're building this relationship with Allah. It's not just two separate entities trying to build a relationship with one another. That's the issue, is that we see them as two separate things, when it's the same thing. It's one and the same. And so when the Prophet Nabi Ali says that man tore himself away from Allah, debased himself, that means it was fixed previous, right? How I see it, I think about it. It's like, let's say having a toy or something or item, and you just break the leg off, right? Violently. That's what we did. But the leg was once a part of the toy. It was once one. So, but again, right, when we talk about man means no middleman and the seed, how I see it is that just like Prophet John, yeah, he was a prophet, but Jesus is the prophet. All right. Islam, brother I. Smithfield, I do see 2 hands up.
I just want to recognize the time.
The time. All right. So we're gonna read the Holy Quran in the more sense of America, and then during Secretary's time, we have you had your hand up too. 2 hands up, brother S. Suleiman Bay, Sister C. Holy instructions from the Prophet, page 36. Holy instructions of unity. Instruction 1. The gifts of the understanding of the treasures of Allah, and He appointed to everyone his portion, and what measures him of good unto himself. Had He endowed thee with wisdom, had He enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is a part of wisdom to hear with patience the impertinence and pity the absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thy own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. The wise man filleth his imperfections and is humble. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation. But the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren he delighteth himself. He boasteth of attainments and things that have no worth. But where is ashamed to be ignorant, there he hath no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom he toileth after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvements of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crown of honor. Nevertheless, the attainments of virtue he accounted as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. We do have 3 minutes left. So within those 3 minutes, I just want to say when we have this chapter that the Prophet Abu Ali is communicating to us through the will of Allah, understand that the context is, what is the context for? What is the purpose of this chapter? It's in the title. Holy instructions of unity, right? So if we are seeking unity, then we have to apply these instructions. We were talking about peace, right? Cities of peace and being peacemakers and practicing Islam. But within all of these things, there is a unifying mechanism, right? The only way that we can be unified is in the only way that we can be unified in peace in Islam is by the practice of these particular instructions. So, Islam, brother, Sister C. Silza, Islam.
Islam. I'll save my comment on what I wanted to speak to with in conjunction with the beautiful thought that Sister E. Jones Bay shared. What I was going to ask is, within these couple of minutes, is it possible we can get Sister M. Serrano Bay, who's been a member for 8 years, to answer a few questions? Because I know that once the children make their Sunday school, praise Allah, they must be ready. Praise Allah. With that, I'll say peace.
Yes. Islam, there is absolutely no calling out. Just like in school, we gotta raise our hand. We don't just talk because we have an impulse.
I did before, but you never replied.
You're talking right now. You didn't raise your hand. So you gotta raise your hand. Praise Allah. Islam, Sister M. Serrano Bay.
What do I have to do?
Islam, we have some questions. Is you want to stand up for us?
My legs are tired. They were tired before I got. They were tired as soon as I got.
Islam, you gotta stand up.
Just so.
Islam, stand up. Thank you. It's called a custom in the Moorish Science of America. It's like a law. You have to stand up when you're speaking, unless you have a disability, and you don't have a disability.
What's a disability?
That means that you are unable to stand because of your medical condition. So my question to you is, who made the devil? You remember?
Satan? I don't know.
6, page 6, question number 96. Who made the devil?
I'm not 96 yet. I'll get there in a moment. What is Elohim?
Elohim. How many days are in the circle?
7 days.
Who made you?
Allah.
What is our religion?
Islamism.
How old is our flag?
Over 10,000 years old.
You gotta stand up.
It was over 10,000 years old.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means justice.
Praise Allah. How long did he teach?
15 years.
Great job. At what age did Jesus begin to teach?
At the age of 12.
Great job. What was the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabitess.
Praise Allah. What is the modern name for Mexico?
Africa.
Praise Allah. What is the title given to our ruler in Morocco? That's question 34.
This page has to be so.
Page 2, question 34.
Yeah, why do these pages have to be so thin?
Stuck together? Praise Allah. Sultan. You know, what helps me to remember that question and answer is that this is more science temple number 34. And question 34 is, what is the title given to our ruler in Morocco? Just like chapter 34 is the chapter of sincerity, right? So this is kind of like, these are our chapters in a way, even though the chapters are for everyone, but it's kind of, we have this special connection to the numbers, to the chapters, right? So praise Allah. Thank you, Sister M. Serrano Bay, for your participation. And thank you, Sister C. for your recommendation. It is 3:32, so we don't call out. It's 3:32. So I want to thank all of my brothers and sisters, those who are able to make it in person, those who are with us online. I want to thank the chairman for calling on me to instruct this Sunday school afternoon. Without further ado, I'd like to for the chairman to continue to chair the meeting.
He gets you mean.
The chairman.
Oh.
Islam. Praise Allah. I'd like to give honor to our dear brother El Serrano for a wonderful job leading today's Sunday school Koran class. I'd like to give honor to each and every one for their participation. And I pray that Allah will be pleased with our efforts. At this time, I'd like to call on Brother C. Ferguson in. Praise Allah. At this time, I'll take a reading from the word. Let's give you undivided attention to the Prophet's words. January 15th, 1929, Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. They lose confidence in their prophet. They should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement, founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement, founded by the prophet, through the will of Allah, to redeem his people from their sins, by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace. Praise be to Allah. The meeting has now been lowered into Secretary's time. This is the opportunity for all the Muslims and the Asiatics to hear about the announcements that we have going on within our nation, as well as within our state, as well as locally. It's also the opportunity for the Moors to contribute any dues and assessments, as well as any donations. This time, Psalm Sister Amstrano Bay, would you like to share some of the baskets?
I would love to live my life.
That's loud.
I had a little cramp earlier.
Honest to you, sister, I appreciate you trying.
But it's okay. Anything for tempo.
Thank you, sister. At this time, I'd like to call on our Secretary, Sister J. Jordan, so she may be able to share today's announcements. Is that all right? Psalm Sister J. Jordan.
Islam.
Islam.
First, I want to rise and give praise to Allah, honor to His holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Pardon me, words. I'm battling here with allergies. I'm just going to be brief. I've put most of the announcements into the chat, and I just wanted to draw your attention to some ones that are pressing in terms of time. As the chairman mentioned, you can make your donations using Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Additionally, we have a couple of events that are going on during the week. We have our question and answer that's held every Thursday from 7:30 to about 8:30. We also have our, this week, we have our civics class. It's every other Wednesday, and that starts from 6 to 7 p.m. on this Wednesday. Additionally, today is the 19th. It is the deadline to let us know if you would be attending the Moorish National Sisters Auxiliary Spring Gala. It is open to both brothers and sisters. Today is the deadline. Just also a reminder for the brothers to note in your calendar, even though you are welcome to attend the Sisters Gala, just note there is a brothers retreat also for June 5th. And that's also happening in Baltimore, Maryland. The flyer for the Brothers Retreat is also available in the chat, and I've been posting it everywhere. A reminder about the camp out, July 3rd to July 5th. This does kind of creep up on us in terms of time, and before you know it, it's here. It's a great opportunity for you and your family to come on out and have a good time with the Moors. And if you're interested, please let us know so we can plan to travel together or let them know that you're coming. Again, you do not have to camp outside if you don't want to. You can book a hotel in the area and then participate during the day with the activities for the camp out. Or you can, I believe they have a limited amount of space for RVs. And then you may want to be, we can prepare better, or make sure you have your tents and everything you need to enjoy the time out there. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to yield the rest of these announcements to allow for additional time to further the Sunday school discussion. With that, I will say peace. Peace and love.
Peace. Praise be to Allah and honor to you, Sister J. Jordan, Secretary. I pray that you'll be able to be healed quickly, that you're able to find some rest. And I appreciate you for sharing the information with the Muslims and all your efforts. I also, at this time, before call on speakers who had questions before, I just want to give honors to Brother Simon Stansfield and Sister C. Overhouse Day, members of Moorish Science Summit number 10. Give honors to the Moors for joining us this afternoon. And I appreciate you, Moors. Honors to you both. Praise Allah. At this time, I know there was two hands, one from Brother S. Limube, and then the next from our Grand Sheikah, Sister C. Sealsdale. I'd like to recognize Brother S. Limube.
Islam, praise Allah, Sister Secretary, for the announcements. Islam, when I wanted to just honor Sister Jones Bay for that etymology definition, because looking through that etymological definition, I like to note that, we speak English. You know what I mean? We speak English, and you know, through that language, that's part of our culture, right? Through the different migrations that we've made, our ancestors, being related to Phoenicians and alphabets and things like that, Latin. So as we speak this English and we're using this word prophet, that differs from what word in Arabic that they say, the two words that they say translate or transliterate into prophet, right? Nabi transliterates to prophet in Arabic, and Rasul for messenger, right? So they saying that it translates into prophet, but that's the thing. And then also the Bible also speaks on prophets. They have, I think I found something on Hosea. Hosea translates into as a prophet in the Bible, I believe. Another form of Nob is in the Bible as well. So, just like we were saying, as things in the spirit of the chapter we read today of unity, I believe the prophet brought a unification, and and there's always going to be those detractors who feel like, based on what they understand, that they have a monopoly on a certain understanding. But praise Allah, honors to the Moorish Americans. And I'm going to try to maybe pull up an actual document that I wanted to look for if we have time. With that, I say peace for now.
Peace. Praise Allah. Thank you, dear brother Aslam. Appreciate you sharing your portion. Salve seus ganchicos.
Praise Allah. First, I just wanted to say great work, Sister M. Serrano Bay, for giving those answers to those questions off of your memory, what you were able to remember over the course of time. So praise Allah and much gratitude to you for doing that. Because I'm gonna also ask the chairman at some point after this statement, if it's possible, if we could have you read the nationality card. I know we used to do that with the young Muslims when they would come to Sunday school, just so that they know that they also are seen and that their learning is also valued and important. And so I also, before you say, you're tired or you call it musty, dusty, crusty, or the cramp starts to kick in, I just want to remind you that you love that game PKXD, and so that is definitely a part of our great arrangement. There are benefits and rewards when you are doing the things that you need to do, but things also get taken away that you would already be entitled to when you're not doing the things you need to do. So it's always good, even for us as adults, to focus on our spiritual growth and development as much as we focus on our earthly growth and development. I was gonna just ask if I could share, as Sister E. Jones Day read, that was exactly what I was speaking to when I said we are each a priest unto ourselves, right? So that concept within chapter number 10, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. Just the concept as the sister began to read, right? Began to read. So instruction number, number 20. It goes, when men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayers. And when they fail to win his favor by their prayers, to buy him off with sacrifices of animal or birds. Now here goes the change. Now, when man sees Allah as one with him, as Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. And so that direct connection, right? And then it continues, he goes straight up to him and says, my Father God, Allah. And then he lays his hands in Allah's own hand, and all is well. And this is Allah. You are each one a priest just for yourself. A sacrifice of blood Allah does not want. Just give your life in sacrificial service to the all of life, and Allah is pleased. And this is what Jesus said to the people, right? And so he's speaking on the unity of Allah and man. So going back to that oneness. And so to have this message to come down to relate to the people is very different from being able to get a message that you can relate to the people, but it's different in saving the nation from the wrath of Allah. Now, there are aspects of input and work that we put in to add to alleviating the burden, right? The Negro problem is our problem, right? And so we know that it's going to be solved only as it can. And so by carrying on this work, by keeping these doors open, by having these meetings, by communicating on the words of the prophet, by speaking onto things that are to come, by speaking things into existence, right? We are creators and we make our own. Those same concepts and all those thoughts allows us to know as well. And I love the concept of the 10. So that's chapter 10. But when you get over to chapter 36, know thyself, and you go to divine instruction number 10, it says, know thyself and the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold, a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare to descend to evil or to meanness. And so the concept, again, of reminding us who we are, but our constant debasing. And so I think it's a beautiful thing as far as connecting back in and reminding ourselves, but also that humility aspect of where we are on this path, right? That we're not crossing the borderland at will, right? We haven't necessarily all wrestled with the conqueror of men, right? And tramped upon him in a row. So there's different degrees to this to what it would look like. But praise be to Allah and honors to you all for such beautiful thoughts and exchanges. May Allah be pleased with you all of your works. I'm gonna
Yes, sister, you're cutting out a little bit. Oh, it's on, yes. You're coming in a little robotic, Father. It's on.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Praise Allah more so that within, I just want to be able to complete this last thought so that during secretary's time, we don't have to come back. So again, more, just get your food, your 90-day, again, pantries, look up different pantries. You can gather these things over the course of time. You can ensure that you have things such as beans, dried goods, any dry goods. Islam, are you able to hear?
It's on, your sister. It's been cut
It's frozen.
again.
And with that, I'll say peace.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. So, honor to you, Sister Gunshikis. Appreciate you for the thought and appreciate you sharing. Praise Allah. May all the ones be able to take heed of the lessons and the words. I do know that the Gunshikis asked to call on Sister M. Serrano.
Again.
Islam, praise Allah. I will first call on Brother J. Comunio as he has his hand up, and then I'll call you again, dear sister. Islam, Brother J. Comunio.
Islam, Chairman. Islam to the Moors.
Islam.
Praise Allah. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 25, the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you son. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relations that bonded you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortress of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to all, and love each other. Peace.
Peace. Praise be to Allah. Give honor to you, Brother J. Comunio, for reading from chapter 25, the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. Praise be to Allah and honor to you, dear brother. Allah be pleased. Islam sister M. Serrano.
Yeah.
Islam your sister. Would you be willing to read a few instructions from the Holy Quran?
Like what? Which part?
Well, I was going to ask if you could read from chapter 8, since you're 8 years old. Is that okay? Just a few instructions?
Okay, so a few means 3. So okay.
A few means 3, sure. We're going to go from page 13. If you could just stand just a little bit longer for us, I appreciate it. So on page 13.
So I'm stand up.
Okay. Is this chapter 8?
Chapter 8, that's right. Jesus reveals to the people of their sinful ways. So I'll just have, if you can, Islamic sister.
Islam.
Sister Armstrong.
Islam.
I'm gonna ask you to read specific instructions. I appreciate you reading from the beginning. Could you read from instruction 13 to 15? Just those 3.
Okay. So, if you would serve Allah who speaks within the heart, just serve your near kin and those who are no kin, the stranger at your gate, the foe who seeks to do you harm. Divine Instruction 14. Assist the poor and help the weak. Do harm and none and covet not what is not yours. Divine Instruction 15. Then with your tongue the Holy One will speak, and he will smile beyond your tears with light your countenance, your countenance with joy, and fill your heart with peace.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Honors to you, dear sister M. Serrano Bay. I appreciate you for reading from instruction 13 and 15. From chapter 8, Jesus reveals to the people of their sinful ways. I give honors to you as well, because you read from the nationality card when Brother El Serrano Bay asked you. And Sister Ganshikis wanted you to read that as well. And you also stated questions from the questionnaire. So I give honors to you for all that you've read and all that you spoke on today, and I appreciate you for sharing. Praise be to Allah. This time, I'd like to recognize any other hands or any other comments or questions before I call in Brother El Serrano Bay, Treasurer, to read our financial report for this afternoon.
It doesn't have, pardon me.
Islam, your sister?
It doesn't have to be on full screen.
Does it have to be on full
The
screen?
meeting doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be on full screen.
I appreciate that. That is true.
I want to see the time.
You want to see the time? I appreciate that.
Yeah, I also want to see the time.
Well, I just wanted to make sure
it's time to go now.
The full screen is on so the Moors can see. And the time right now is 3:51. So we have 9 more minutes within the meeting.
Seriously?
Seriously.
How's it still not 4 o'clock yet? It's been hours.
It's wrong.
Honest to you, sister.
We did not over yet.
Islam, I see another hand from Brother J. Coleman here. Islam, Brother J. Coleman. You had unmuted again, dear brother.
Islam.
Islam.
Oh, praise Allah. Praise be to Allah. I want to ask a brief question to Brother Serrano Bay about, he said something about this words that you could look up a certain website. Actually listed earlier. I wanted to know what website was that you were speaking about pertaining to the different words of peace and, things like that, if you will.
Peace. Praise Allah. Somebody else remember?
Islam. Online etymology.com is a website that's been around for a long time. Sister Cecile knows about the website. I've known about the website going on maybe over 13 years. I've been using that website. So it's online etymologydictionary.com. So just to help the Moors to study. One of the methods that I used to do was I get different dictionaries. Like today, I probably have over 15 dictionaries, maybe 20. And I will cross-reference whatever word I'm looking up that I want to try to get a deeper understanding about. because Oxford might say something different from Webster. So, I want to see the difference. Then I want to see the evolution of the word. How was it first used? How did that word start to develop into meaning something else? And what is the context that I'm reading in a book that was published, or a pamphlet that was published in 1927? So if the word meant something different in 1927 than what it means now, we're only reading it based off of the colloquial sense of how it's used today, or the connotative sense of how it's used today, then we might have a misunderstanding. One of the words that a lot of Moors like to use as an example is the word nice, for example, right? We know nice today, it means, somebody's being nice, right? Someone is being like well received or well behaved, or they're displaying positive qualities, nice. But according to etymology, the word originally meant naive. Someone who is naive, who is, has a limited informational understanding. That's all.
Am I naive?
Islam
I
is just
feel like how like older people use that word.
Islam, yes.
Yeah, that's why some people don't like things being called nice, because it's not totally a compliment.
Yes.
Recently.
You're being too nice.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just one of the examples. But online, etymologydictionary.com, you can look up what it means today from a connotative or denotative context, what it used to mean. I'll make a comparison between those definitions so that you can have a better understanding. You can have a variety of ways of learning something, or whatever it is that you're reading. So, try to get your dictionaries, whether you're looking at it from a lawful perspective, you got lawful dictionaries, right? They'll give you a lawful definition of a particular word, or a medical dictionary that gives you a medical terminology of a word. Or if you're looking at etymology, or you're looking at just the various dictionaries that you look. I don't want to belabor the point. I feel like I'm, being the term, but peace.
peace. Praise be to Allah. I'd like to give honor to you, Brother El Serrano Bay, for that demonstration, for sharing the importance of etymology, as well as honor to Sister E. Jones Bay for furthering the demonstration. Honors to you, Brother J. Conio, for asking the question, and I pray the Moors can use that online etymology dictionary, as well as the concept of etymology, to further their study. Praise be to Allah. At this time, the Moors like to call on Brother El Serrano Bay, Treasurer of Moor Science Summit number 34, to read today's financial report and attendance.
Praise and honors already given. Moor Science Temple of America Incorporated, Prophet Noble Drew founder. Moor Science Temple number 34, 237-239 Hancock Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11216. The date is April 19, 2026. Public collection was $4.50. Uplifting fund was $4.50. Charity fund was $20. Travel fund was $6.50. Local building fund was $4.50. In person was 5, 12 online, and attendance with a total of 17, with a grand total of $40.
Peace. Islam? You've heard a reading of the financial report and attendance. What's the will and pleasure of the Moors? Islam, Brother C. Ferguson. Islam.
I move that the financial report and attendance be accepted with the necessary correction if they be added.
Peace. It was moved by the C. Ferguson that the financial report and attendance of April the 19th, 2026 be accepted with the necessary corrections of their being. Can I receive a second? Islam. Second by Brother P. Martin. Praise be to God. It was, financial report and attendance of April 19, 2026. It was first moved by Brother C. Ferguson. It was seconded by Brother P. Martin. You're the motion, are you ready for the question?
Question.
All those that are in favor of the motion, please show by the Moorish way of voting. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Let the Secretary note that the motion has been carried.
Carried. Praise Allah.
Praise be to Allah. I pray that Allah will be pleased with all of our efforts. I give honor to each and every one of the more for their contributions physically, spiritually, financially, as well as energetically. I pray that we can keep the divine covenant of our holy prophet, keeping our hearts and minds pure with love and our bodies clean with water. I pray that we can keep the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice on our hearts and minds at all times throughout our week. I pray that Allah will continue to protect us from all forces seen and unseen. I pray that we can put out a thought that can heal the world. And I pray that we can remember our Moorish American prayer at all times, and especially in times of need. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. All rise. Face the east. Hit 90 degrees. Place 5 fingers on the left hand, 2 on the right. Now repeat the Moorish American prayer after Brother C. Ferguson Neal.
Islam,
Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe,
Allah, the
Allah, the
Father,
Father of the universe,
the Father of love,
the Father of
the
love,
Father of love,
truth,
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 peace,
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 Peace
freedom,
freedom,
and justice.
and
and
justice.
and
justice.
justice.
Allah is my protector,
Allah is
My
Allah is my
protector,
protector,
my guide,
my
my
guide
guide,
guide,
my salvation.
and
my
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 salvation.
salvation.
By night,
by
By
night
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 by day,
and by day,
by day,
through his holy prophet,
through his
through his
holy
holy
with his holy
prophet.
prophet,
through Ali.
Drew Ali.
Ali.
Amen.
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 Peace and love, Moors. Praise
To
be
the
to Allah.
Lord.
Peace
Praise
and
Allah.
love. Praise be to
Peace, bro.
Allah.
Peace.
Peace,
Islam,
brother.
Brother Masjid Bay. Praise Allah.
Islam, Islam. Sorry for
Salam,
not
brother
being
Bay.
there today.
Praise Allah. Islam,
Islam.
Brother J. Coleman Neal, my dear brother, praise Allah. Good to see you as always. Fez on, praise Allah. All right. We got more with feathers
Islam,
and
cheapest.
turbans, praise Allah.